Good morning, this is Jerry Zremski from the Buffalo News Washington Bureau, coming to you on this President's Day of what will likely be a very slow news week here in Washington. Traditionally, the way things work here in D.C. is if Congress is in town, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of news, and when Congress is not, there's a lot less. And traditionally, over the last many years, I've noticed that this week tends to be among the quietest in D.C. So that being the case, I'm not planning on doing the sort of congressionally oriented stories I often do this week. I'm going to instead do, first of all, a story about campaign finance. I'm going to be taking a close look at how much money our members of Congress from Western New York have on hand for their next campaigns and where they're getting that money. It's a story that I do fairly regularly, and it's a very important thing to do, I think, to really just keep you posted as to what our lawmakers are really up to in terms of where they get their cash and what that means. So I'm looking to get going on that tomorrow. I've already done some preliminary work, and we'll probably have that story by midweek, I would imagine. I am still waiting for the New York State Legislature to get around to doing its reapportionment plan for our members of Congress, moving our number of districts down from 29 to 27. You're probably all getting sick of me talking about this, but I think our members of Congress are probably getting sick of waiting for this plan as well. Again, it's huge news when it does come. And beyond that, I'm going to get working on a story I do every year for Sunshine Week. Sunshine Week is the annual event sponsored by America's newspapers that really tries to remind everyone about the importance of open government. And every year I try to write about that because it is very, very important. And this story will be a little bit different this year. I've got a few ideas to take a kind of a more particularized look at how much press freedom there is in particular realms of American society. And so it's going to take a lot of reporting, and I'm hoping to do that reporting this week so that I can get that story written possibly by the end of this week. Although Sunshine Week isn't until March, I just figured this will be a good week to do this just because it's a quiet news week. So that's the week ahead as far as I see it. Of course, anything could come up, any kind of news could come up, and I would be sure to cover it if that's the case. And since I don't have much going on, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about why I don't do certain things. Some people have asked me, why am I not covering the presidential race, for example? And my response basically is there's no Buffalo angle to that quite yet. There will be, and our paper will cover the race as it becomes closer, as the New York primary becomes closer, as the fall of election comes around. But really what my goal here in D.C. is what I call value-added reporting. And what I mean by that is I try to write stories that no one else is going to write for you, for the people of Buffalo, New York. And if the wire services are covering the presidential campaign and we don't have a New York candidate in the race this time, it doesn't really make sense for me to spend a lot of time and energy doing that when I can be doing stories that are really much more particularized, much more important locally in a Buffalo way at this point in time. So, for those of you who are asking, that's my explanation, and that's my look at the week ahead. I hope you'll be reading my stories, and I will talk to you again next week. Thanks.